Welcome to the Locked In Baseball Podcast. I'm William Locke. He is Luis Barranco. It is Thursday, May 14th. Another week of baseball is basically in the books. Luis, how's it going, my friend?
My guy, I'm losing the hat tonight. I think it's with the hair flow. How you doing? It is May 14th. We're officially almost halfway through May. How does it feel like?
How are we already halfway through May? The season is flying by. We're a quarter of the way through. It's a little depressing because I love baseball. I wish it was year round. And yeah, this thing is like just flying by.
I mean, that's the big thing. And I mean, it's a quarter way through the season damn near, and we haven't gotten boots on the ground anywhere other than WBC. It's
I might be going to my first game of this. I might be going to my first game of the season on Monday. Cubs, Brewers, Jacob Mizorowski versus Shota Imanaga. I feel like I have to go watch that in person.
Oh, do you want me to say what you said last night about Mizorowski?
No, because I'm going to be talking about Mizorowski later in the podcast, so I don't want to step on it too much. But yeah, I feel like I got to get boots on the ground for that one. And to your point, it is weird that it's almost 2 months into the season and I haven't been to a single game. I think that speaks to the fact that Chicago is just too cold. And it's the reason I can't live my whole life here because it's too cold. It's too cold. It's May 14th. It's 50 degrees. It was 40 degrees when I was waking up today. Like it should be in the 70s, 80s by now. I'm sorry. Ridiculous. If Chicago had better weather, it would be the most expensive city in the country.
Do you want to trade? Like right now I'm in Miami and it is hot. It is 80, 90 degrees. Funny enough, I went with the run club on Sunday morning. As you know, I am an amateur runner at this point. I haven't talked to Joe, our good podcast friend Joe. Joe is like, "Oh, Luis, when are you doing your marathon?" Well, I already did a half marathon. I'm on my way. On my way up to the marathon. It's like you start at a half, then you do marathon, then you end up doing ultra marathons, 100 miles, which that's
idiotic.
But there's also like Ironmans. But regardless, it was 80, 90 degrees. And I wake up at 5 a.m., 5:30, eat a little, toast with honey, get to the spot, and we leave at 7 o'clock Mother's Day. Buddy, we stopped at 4 miles because we always stop at 4 miles. It's like our halfway point, and we turn around. Everybody was dying. It was like a battlefield out there. It was 7:45, and everybody was like dropping like flies. It was tough, man. And I don't know, man. I would happily trade with you right now to get some colder weather. It is hot. I walked to the office and my dress shirt has angel wings on the back. I don't know, man. It's impossible.
Yeah, I'm good on the Miami heat. I feel like from May to October, November, it's pretty miserable there. Winter sounds.
The basketball team, the Miami Heat.
What about them?
Oh, you said the Miami Heat. I'm cool with the Miami Heat. I'm cool off the Miami Heat.
No, yeah, the weather. I'm fine with it. I don't know. There's cities that are warmer than Chicago. Maybe if one day I have enough money, I'll have the 2-house thing. I don't know if that's in my future, but you move down south in the winter, enjoy the Rays, then come back up to Chicago in the summer when it's the best city in the world, or at least in the country. I don't know about the world. Anyways,
you wouldn't do Florida. William in Florida, something has gone completely off in the in the programming. But regardless of that, onto your point, we haven't hit a game this year. I may be going to my first game this year at Marlins Park at Lone Depot.
I'm happy for you.
Next Wednesday versus the Braves.
Ooh, that's a good series.
It could be a good one. I mean, Braves are on fire. We'll talk more about them later. But I mean, it's just hard. I don't know. I think Wrigley and, this goes around like our city talk where we are located in. I just think Chicago is a much more movable city, like in the sense that if it's like 12 o'clock, you're at work, you're bored, and you want something to do tonight, it's easy for you to get to Wright Field to go see the Southside Samurai, or it's easy to go see PCA, go 0 for 5. Like it's easy. Like you can get there pretty fast.
Yeah, you don't have to have a car if you're living in downtown Chicago. If you're living in Miami, you have to have a car. Chicago is one of the few cities in the country that you don't need a car, for sure.
Exactly. And so I know we have a lot of things planned for the pod coming up. You'll have boots on the ground hopefully Monday, maybe next Wednesday for me. Podcast schedule is going to be a little bit wonky. I'll give that disclaimer out next week. I'll be out on the West Coast, and so the video and audio quality. The audio quality would be good, but the video quality might be a little bit up and down. We might go back to those. You remember the Atlanta pod we did and the LA pod we did, where it was like 3 a.m. in the morning, and like my eyes were like just literally like damn near closed.
It was playoff season. We had to do it. We'll make it work next week, whatever the circumstances may be. We got to get into this episode. We're already 5 minutes in. On the talk of cities, it's kind of the theme of today's podcast, because we're going to be talking about some small market teams that are crushing it. We wanted to give them some love, so we'll talk about that. Then we'll pivot to the big market teams, talk about some big market teams. Are we concerned about them? What are our thoughts? So we're kind of playing off the market dynamics there. And then we'll go, of course, around the horn, talking about some of the biggest news and notes from around the league, because it does feel like there has been a lot that has happened this week. A lot of key injured list stints, some major concern with the Yankees and one of their best pitchers. So we'll get to all of it. I did want to start with the small market teams. We're going to be showing some love to the Tampa Bay Rays, Cleveland Guardians, and the Milwaukee Brewers. So, Luis, let's start with the Guardians series. You want to recap the series real quick, and then we'll dive in?
Yeah, man. As a city that I used to live in, a state that I found near and dear to my heart, and it's kind of shocking that Williams actually going to give love to Ohio. Like, if William is giving love to the state of Ohio, that means something is completely going right, like too right, to the extent that deep down inside, like he's hurting, like he wants to He's like the Arthur emoji, the Arthur picture emoji. That's pretty much. But the Guardians, man, I think one of the Guardians have been one of the little pleasant surprises. I know they were kind of off to this like little sneaky start, but this week they played the Angels. They swept them in 3. Monday they won 7-2. Cantillo went 6 strong, 0 earned, 4 strikeouts. Tuesday they won 3-2. Guardians only won that game with 4 hits. And then yesterday, Wednesday's game, they won 4-2. Again, they've had a lot of really good players this year. Under the radar guys like Parker Messick, who went 6 2/3, 2 earned, 7 strikeouts. I think the biggest thing I want to highlight with Cleveland before you go into the StatCast and talk deep about the Guards is their player development pitching-wise is just second to none. I know we talk about a lot of recency bias in this pod because, you see Seattle with all their arms with Brian Wu and Logan Gilbert and George Kirby. We talk a lot about the Yankees with Cam Schlittler and what they've done with Will Warren and teams of that nature. But the Guardians are one of those teams that, they always have like this one big pitcher that they produce in-house. For example, it was Corey Kluber. They had Trevor Bauer for a while, and then they flip him and they never skip a beat. It's that pitching development system, again, is one of the best, if not the best in baseball, I think we could argue, because of how they, 1, develop the talent that they have in-house, and 2, how they get top-end elite talent. And I think the next guy in that list is Gavin Williams. And, Gavin Williams is one of those guys, if he can get that command going, he has really good stuff. And we saw it last year against the Mets, and he's had starts this year where he started to show it, where he could be that next ace for the Guardians.
100%. I'm glad you hit on the pitching because I'm going to focus a little bit more on the hitting, but they have had a lot of development successes in the rotation. And I think it's obviously playing into a lot of their success so far this season. I wanted to focus on the offense, and the Guardians, look, the Guardians are guard balling again this season. And I think this might be the best Guardians team we've seen in a few years. I think it could be of that 2024 caliber where they made the ALCS. I'm not saying they're going to make the ALCS again this year, but I think this team can win a lot of games. They're playing very disciplined baseball, and most importantly, they're playing an annoying brand of baseball, and it's working even though they can't really hit. So, first thing I want to look at is their plate discipline, because again, that's kind of their whole identity. They lead Major League Baseball in pitches seen per plate appearance at just over 4 pitches per plate appearance. They're third in walks with 190. They have the third lowest strikeout rate at just under 20%. And you've seen guys like Jose Ramirez, Steven Kwan, Brian Rocchio, Daniel Schneemann. All of those guys have jumped their walk rates. Then you have new additions like Chase DeLauder and Rhys Hoskins to the lineup that have helped boost up the walk rate of the team this year as well. Top to bottom, it's just a team that is not giving you an easy at bat this year. And then another piece that they've added in this year that I think has had already a huge impact is Travis Bazzana, the former number 1 overall pick, the only number 1 overall pick in Guardians history. He's walking already at a 20% clip with a 16% chase rate. He's a perfect 7 for 7 as well on stolen bases. It's kind of a prospect arriving as advertised, and he's fitting into the philosophy of what the Guardians are. Now, they are 27th in batting average. They're 27th in slug. They don't hit, but they manufacture runs. They get those walks that I talked about, and then they're running. They're second in Major League Baseball in steals with 48 this season. You got J-Ram, who's leading the league, Angel Martinez, Brian Rocchio, Bazzana, all those guys are chipping in. So the kind of formula is walk, steal, manufacture runs. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. And then you mentioned the starting rotation, but you look at the bullpen, and it's a really strong bullpen with Eric Zabrowski as the 8th inning guy. He leads Major League Baseball in holds. And then you got Kate Smith, who's tied for the MLB lead in saves with 13. So the bullpen is already shortening these games with the elite starting pitching, maybe not elite, but really strong starting pitching that they have. I think this is a really good team this year. And look, I was all in on Detroit heading into the season. I'm selling a lot of stock. I will get to Detroit a little bit later, but I'm starting to feel like the Guardians are establishing themselves as the best team in this division right now. And I know it's a series against the Angels, but they're showing me some things. I like the formula.
I just like the talent that they have too. Like, I love Bazzana. Bazzana's doing the walk rate. And Bazzana's only how many weeks? 2-3 weeks up in the bigs so far. Like, it's only a matter of time where it starts to click and he makes that jump and becomes a star. They have J-Ram, who's been there. And you know who they're doing this all without? Statistically,
Kwan hasn't been good.
Stephen Kwan right now is hitting a 206 right now. Last year he hit 272, and the year before he hit 292. He's hitting 206. His slugging is down to 265, which was 374 last year. He's never going to be a guy that's going to hit for power, but he's been like really struggling at the plate. And so, if he can get a little bit going, I think this offense could just take off. And I think I talked to you and talked to a good friend of the podcast, John, because John lives in Cleveland, and he comes home from work and he puts on the Guards game because that's what's on the television and that's what's easily accessible to him in Cleveland. And he was telling me that, I was telling him that I just really like the core with Bazzana, J-Ram, and if Quan can get it going and like the younger guys on this team, if they can just get a little bit, they're like a little bit more seasoning, maybe a bat or two away, and one of those arms takes that leap, I think they could be a team that could be a force in the AL. The other thing I will note is like, think about the pitchers Cleveland has historically, like, I didn't give enough credit to the pitchers they've developed, but Corey Kluber, Trevor Bauer, CC Sabathia, Cliff Lee, like, it's clearly the Guardians are a pitching factory that nobody talks about.
They know what they're doing with pitchers, and I agree on the core. In years past, for me, it's always been like, the Guardians are kind of there. But now they have these additions with DeLauder and Bazzana specifically, who I feel like are legitimate pieces that can kind of take this team to the next level. And you mentioned Quan, like once he gets going, that's kind of a legit lineup around J-Ram, who's just going to continue to be one of the best players in the league. He's only 33. I think he's a guy that's going to age well. I think he's, going to play pretty solid baseball through his, age 38 to 40 season. Like, let's go. Like, if you're the Guardians, like, this is you have the core around J-Ram. Let's make a serious run at this thing. The AL sucks right now. Like, you can make it out of the American League this year. Why not? I mean, you got to do everything you can to get to the World Series again with J-Ram as your core guy.
Well, the other thing we talk about with the Guards is like they just like playing in October in Cleveland is not an easy place to play. We do have to admit, because it gets really cold, Lake Erie. We've seen so many, like, I don't want to say historic because then I'm just overvaluing, but we remember the Java Chamberlain game that like unseasonably hot. Like, sorry that I bring it up, but it's just like there's just something about the Guards, and people, like I said, people make the claim that they should have traded Quan at the deadline because imagine their core. But again, we fall into the same argument that we talk often in this podcast is that's not. You can trade an MLB proven guy for a bunch of prospects, but there's like no guarantee that those prospects end up turning out. Like, if you trade Quan for like 3 Delatters or 3 Bazanas. Like there's no guarantee like they're going to pan out,
Yeah. And I think Quan will eventually play to the numbers on the back of his baseball card. He was really good in his rookie year in 22, struggled a bit, took a step back in 23, but then was good again in 24 and 25. I think I'll turn it around. And I just think this is a scary team. They have a 36% chance of winning the division, according to Fangraphs, which is the best out of all teams in the American League Central, which is just a really weird division. We'll talk about the rest of the teams as we move on in the episode. But yeah, I like this team. Good bullpen, good starting rotation. The lineup is improved this year, and their guards balling. So I'm confident in them.
You forget there's a good organization too. They make good trades. Like that's something we also didn't. I was going to bring up, and I kept forgetting to say is that they make really good trades. Like you look at the Josh Naylor trade. Guess who they got back from the Josh Naylor trade?
Josh Naylor trade was that to Arizona?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
They got Slade Ciccone.
Okay, yeah.
Who did they get back in the Lindor trade? Lindor and Carrasco.
Wasn't it what's his face? He's not on the team anymore. Andres Jimenez? It was a long time ago.
Jimenez, yep. And one more guy.
Is that a pitcher?
Infielder.
I don't know.
It was one of our podcast favorites, Ahmed Rosario.
Oh, well, he's not on the team anymore, but yeah.
Corey Kluber. Who did Corey Kluber get traded for?
I don't know.
Emmanuel Clase.
Well.
That's what I'm saying. Like the Guardians, like they're a team that makes good moves. They make good moves. They don't get enough credit. That front office doesn't get enough credit.
100%. Let's move to another team who's, I think their front office gets enough credit. The Tampa Bay Rays. They won 2 out of 3 in Toronto this week, 8-5 on Monday. Drew Rasmussen, 6 innings, 3 earned. A franchise record 46th consecutive start, allowing 4 earned runs or fewer. You had Kevin Gausman pitch that game, became the 6th active player with 2,000 career strikeouts. Brian Baker picked up the save in that one. Chandler Simpson had 3 hits and 2 stolen bases. Then on Tuesday, the Rays picked up the win 7-6-10 in a crazy game. Shane McClanahan, 5 innings scoreless, pushing his career best scoreless streak to 21.2 innings pitched. The Rays had 13 hits and scored 2 runs in the top of the 10th to win that one. And then the Blue Jays did win on Wednesday 5-3-10. Cease went 7 innings, 1 earned, 9 strikeouts, and Dalton Varsho hit a walk-off grand slam. Again, I have some numbers that I want to dive into, but before we get into them, Luis, any thoughts on Toronto? This is another series win against an American League East opponent.
For the Rays, you mean Tampa?
Sorry, yes.
Toronto?
Sorry,
I know there's a lot of things going on in Toronto. Like tonight's a national holiday. You do know that, right?
What's going on in Toronto? Is it the Leafs?
Iceman, man. No, the Leafs are terrible. Like the Leafs got the number one. The Leafs got the number 1 overall pick, which there's a lot of conspiracy behind that again. And supposedly the GM they hired is not the greatest GM, but the Iceman comes out tonight. Drake's dropping an album tonight. Episode 4 is in about an hour and a half. I am very excited. There's going to be fireworks in Canada again.
I forgot about that. I will be listening to that album at the gym tomorrow morning.
I will be listening tonight at midnight and tomorrow morning when I am running at 5 a.m. I will be up at midnight for it, and I will be up at 5 a.m. listening to it. Like I am ready to go. But again, going and talking about Tampa, talking about an American team south of the border here in Florida. The Tampa Bay Rays just do we talk about Kevin Cash being one of the premier managers in the league. They just do the little things right. Like, we saw it in the Yankee series, and I watched them again last week versus Boston. I've got a lot of Tampa ball on me. They're just good fundamentals. They make great swings. The only thing is that they don't hit for power. There are a lot of flat swings. But again, all those guys, Aranda, Chandler Simpson, Yandy Diaz, Caminero, they all hit. And they all just, it's death by 1,000 cuts, as we say. They singles, and then they keep pressure on the base paths. Cedric Mullins, he had a terrible year last year with the Mets, and now he comes in and he adds another dimension of speed and defense out in the outfield. Like, there's just a very hard team to play against because they're just going to be annoying to play with. I think one of the biggest unsung heroes on that team is Jonathan Aranda, who I think is pretty good, which I was watching the telecast last week, and they said the way they found Jonathan Aranda was that the Rays actually went to go watch Randy Arozarena. And Randy, I think it was a story, don't quote me, that Randy was late, allegedly. Randy was late, or that he didn't show up. And Jonathan Aranda was there, and that they fell in love with Aranda because they were trying to get creative on how to get players to Tampa. Because Tampa again, and that's one of the teams I want to see go all in. I know a lot of MLB Twitter is talking about how Tampa could be one of these sleeper teams at the deadline that makes one of the bigger moves. Splash is going for a Yordan Alvarez in Tampa.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, $87 million is their payroll, which is 28th in the league. Cleveland, who we just talked about, is at $85 million, which is 29th. Miami is at 74. They're dead last. It's just pathetic. But the Rays, everyone's talking about the Rays, the best team record-wise right now in the American League. We know their starting pitching is elite. They're first in ERA and WHIP. But what about the offense? Like, how is this team manufacturing runs? And I did a deep dive on the numbers this week, and let's highlight the bad stuff first. So they're dead last in baseball in hard hit percentage, barrel percentage, average exit velocity. They're 25th in launch angle at 12.2 degrees. It's pretty low. They're 24th in bat speed, 22nd in walk rate, 25th in fly ball percentage, first in infield fly ball percentage, 25th in home runs. So it's like, okay, they don't hit the ball hard. They clearly have very flat swings, like you just said. They don't walk, and they don't hit home runs. So, what do they do well? How is this team scoring runs? Well, they have the second best strikeout rate in baseball at 18.8%. That is an incredible strikeout rate as a team. They lead the league in contact percentage at 82.8%. They're outside the strike zone. Contact rate is 71%, which is 5 percentage points better than Toronto, who's in second place. Their zone contact rate, so balls in the zone, is 89%. So they're hitting when they swing, they're hitting it if it's in the zone. They lead Major League Baseball in opposite field percentage. So 28% of the baseballs that they hit are going to the opposite field. Opposite ground ball percentage, they lead the league in. They're 7th in oppo air percentage, so they hit the ball in the air to the opposite side. And they are 5th in opposite field hits. So whether that be opposite field bunts, whether that be opposite field flares, whether that be opposite field ground balls, they're clearly hitting the ball the other way, and it's working for them. They're 6th in BABIP, 7th. These next two stats I think are important too. They're 7th in infield hits with 35, and they're 3rd in bunt hits. So this is the classic small ball profile. It's very similar to what the Brewers have done in the previous years when it's led them to success in the National League Central. And the Rays are 3rd in batting average, 7th in OBP, and 3rd in stolen bases. So again, it is the narrative of they do the little things well. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. The Pythagorean win theorem is the numbers suggest they're getting a little bit lucky. I think it's safe to say Pythagorean wins has them 5 wins over expected right now. Their expected win-loss is 23-19, but they're actually 28-14. So we might start to see some regression with this team, but I do think they are really good. I think they're going to be a playoff team. I don't know if they can win the division, hold on for that long.
Please.
Fangraphs gives them a 21% chance of winning the division. Fangraphs still gives the Yankees a 73% chance of winning the AL East.
Okay. Yeah, with what? With what hitting? When you have freaking Niscara, Schumann, and Wells hitting in the back half of the order. I'm sorry, that's for later. But and Volpe, I forgot Volpe. But that's for later. But I just think the biggest thing with the Rays, and it's just like there's just organizational alignment, and there's like a development path. I remember growing up when we were younger, the Devil Rays, as they call them, were one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. They were like the Browns of baseball. Browns, Jets, like the Rays were just terrible. But as you see, when Andrew Friedman came in and Joe Madden later on, like they redid everything, and it's just they do things right. They coach players right. They teach the correct approaches. They do the fundamentals, as you say, the bunt hits. And one of the biggest things I think what raises the ceiling of this team this year is Shane McClanahan. Shane McClanahan being able to be that number one pitcher for them and being able to, like you said, have that scoreless streak and be that guy, like that already gives them a leg up to what they didn't have last year and the year before when he was hurt. And I think that is just a game changer. It puts everybody in their role, and then it just gives you like a bona fide guy for the first game. I'll just be this. The Rays are one of like, I can put like 3 or 4 teams right now, name them. I never want to be in an extra innings game against the Rays. That being, especially not with the man for man, and especially not in the postseason. Because if you get a runner on, they're going to have some speed demon on the bench. It's going to come in from first base and start running, circles around him. So,
yeah, they run the base as well. McClanahan is a huge re-addition. They are kind of limiting his pitch count because he's coming off so many injuries. I think he only threw 80 pitches in that game against Toronto. So that is something to monitor. How many innings is he going to end up throwing this season? But, man, they're a nuisance to play. We got to give some love to them. They also got some demons in the bullpen. Brian Baker, Garrett Clevenger, Kevin Kelly. They've got some demons. Every year they pull some guys, and they're back in the Trop too. 14-4 at home right now. It's incredible.
The Trop does look better on TV. I will say that. I don't know what it does. It looks better.
It's more aesthetically pleasing. It is okay to watch baseball games there. I used to feel the same way about Toronto. I hated watching games there, but since the renovations, it looks like a nice stadium. A couple other notes on the Rays. They're 20-4 against AL competition and 10-4 against the American League East. 16-3 overall in their last 19 games. Look, winning games against divisional opponents, that is exactly how you win divisions, and the Rays are taking care of business right now. So you got to tip your cap. It is still a quarter of the way through the season. We got 3/4 of the way to go, so they got to keep it up. But, yeah, they've been incredible.
I'll say this. Winning games in sweeps in May, April, and you can also include March. Winning these games add up for a long time. The only thing I have concerns with is I think they learned from the past couple of years where they started off really hot and then they fall off a cliff. I think it's different with this team. I will say that. Just how the AL is, the East we can say is the biggest disappointment in baseball this year.
Yeah, if you're looking at like team, yeah. If you don't want to go into individual players, yeah, I think the East is.
And you can talk individual players, but again, I think Tampa's a good ball club. Again, like I said, their team, you don't want it. Like they can be under talented. They can be less talented than you, but I don't want to see them in an extra innings game. I just don't want to be in an extra innings 1-run game with them in the postseason or at the end because they just find a way to make the right play. Defensively, alignments, and running the bases, it's like that.
And they're well managed. It feels like they're always going to make the right decision. Unless it's Blake Snell in Game 6 of the World Series, then they probably won't make the right decision, but that's okay.
They're a cockroach. So
yeah. Let's move to the next small market team. Yeah, let's move to the next small market team that we want to give some love to. The Milwaukee Brewers. They won 2 out of 3 against the San Diego Padres. 6-4 win on Tuesday, racking up 11 hits. That marked 5 straight wins for Milwaukee. 3-1 loss on Wednesday. Jacob Mizorowski was elite. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on some of the numbers with Mizorowski here shortly. They blew that one. They were down to their last strike, and then Gavin Sheets hit a 3-run homer off Abner Uribe to give San Diego the 3-1 lead, and then Mason Miller shut it down in the bottom half of the ninth. They were a strike away. I mean, they were so close to winning that game. And then Thursday today, they came back and went BTA. Kyle Harrison, 5 scoreless. The Brewers won that one 7-1. So the Brewers continue to brewer. They've won 6 out of their last 7. They have won 5 straight series or split, win/split 5 of their last 5 series. So they're playing really good baseball. And look, with the way the Cubs are playing right now and with the way the Brewers are playing, Brewers are right there. They're knocking on the door and they're saying, we're still here. We're just waiting for you Cubs to start to slip up a little bit. We're going to be there. The Cubs are the Brewers are like a pest to the Cubs. They're like the little brother that you cannot stand. Like when you're growing up, you're fighting all the time, and he's just always there to bug you because the Cubs are, financially the bigger brother. We all know this, but the Brewers have dominated the rivalry, and they're back.
No, I will say, I mean, the Brewers are another team that do the right way. again, they're a team that also does a really good job in development. Do you see the common theme with these small market teams? Like good organizations with correct development plans. They play baseball the way it's supposed to be played when you're less financially fortunate. Like
you know who has the best farm system? You know who has the best farm system in all of baseball right now? The freaking Brewers. You know who has the number one prospect?
The
Jesus
Brewers,
Mate, number one overall.
Yeah, no, I'll say this about the Brewers, man. I mean, look, they're just like the Guards and the Rays, but again, I think they have a little bit more of a budget. But again, they do a really good job, and they pick and choose when to trade. I mean, they got Wilson Contreras, they got Christian Yelich. They're a team that, when have the Brewers had a losing season in the past decade? I don't think they have a single one.
Oh, I can look it up. I think they had one mixed in there where they weren't as good.
No, I don't. They had CC as well. Greinke.
I'm not counting 2020. Their last losing season was 2016. They were pretty bad from 2013 to 2016, but then they got good again. Yeah.
Hey, those formulas work in Milwaukee compared to New York,
Yeah.
So I'm like, I looked at, Mazeroski, you talked about him. Like, I literally remember watching his highlight tape with Schlittler's last year. And I'm not trying to sound like Flight Reacts or one of these people like, oh, I told you so. But like, I watched the tape, and I think I even said it in the podcast where we talked about prospects we like. I was like, I like this Mazeroski kid. Like, I don't know why. The fastball is just so lively. And, I was listening to John Boy Talking Yanks when they were reviewing the series. And, dude, Buddy was amped on Friday night to play the Yankees. 104, 103. Like, I want to see him in October playing, the biggest stages. Because if he can get amped up for a random Friday night against New York at home for the Yankees, imagine what he's going to do on a Game 5, Game 6 in Dodger Stadium, all on the line. Just think about it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone always throws around the saying, like, I don't know how you hit major league pitching. I think Jacob Misiorowski for me is like the prime example of I have no idea how you hit major league pitching. How in the world do you hit Jacob Misiorowski? I mean, he's 6'7". His extension is 7.5 inches, meaning his release point is 7.5 inches from the front of the rubber. And I think my favorite thing about Misiorowski is he wasn't this super heralded young prospect. He wasn't a guy that went to LSU out of high school. He was a JUCO product, ended up staying 2 years at JUCO, and then got drafted out of a junior college in Missouri. And then you look at his numbers this year. I mean, the guy's throwing 103 in the 7th inning, and then you mix in a 94-mile-an-hour slider, an 87-mile-an-hour curveball, and a 92-mile-an-hour changeup. How in the world are you supposed to hit this guy? His walk rate right now is just under 10%, which it's not good. It's in the 41st percentile. I think once he really hones in the command even more so, which was the knock on him as a prospect, but he's already gotten a lot better at it. Like, once that walk rate is down to 7-8%, like, this dude he might be one of, if not the best pitchers in all of baseball. I mean, he's first in strikeouts right now, first in K per nine, first in K percentage. His whiff rate of 39.5% is 6 percentage points better than the second place NL pitcher. He's third in batting average against, fifth in FIP. I mean, I don't want to speak in hyperbole, but we could be looking at like a generationally great pitcher here, Misiorowski.
I mean, Paul Skeens does exist. You do forget.
100%, but he's damn near right there, bro.
I don't know. Paul Skeens is that good too.
I know. I'm not discrediting Paul Skeens. I think he's probably the best pitcher in baseball right now, but I think it could be a legit Cy Young battle this year. Misiorowski is incredible. 103 in the 7th inning. How are you supposed to hit that?
104 to Spencer Jones. I mean, I think you just have to predetermine that you're just it has to be a fastball.
We'll talk about the Yankees later. All you got to do is throw a pitch to Spencer Jones, and he's whiffing at it, so it doesn't.
No, dude. I was going to give Spencer Jones props. You want to switch now and talk about the big markets? Now?
No, there's one more guy I want to talk about with the Brewers, because there was this stat that I uncovered that was I couldn't believe it when I saw it. F4 leaders since August of 2025: Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, Bobby Witt Jr., Number 4 is Bryce Terang.
Well, he's that good defensively.
No, it's not the defense. He's turned into a slugger. Bryce Terang has turned into a slugger. Right now he has career highs in OPS at 933. His slug is at a career high at 511. His career OPS is 714. His career slug is 380. His batting average 298, career high. Look at his Savant page. Just go take a look at his Savant page. It's a sea of red. I mean, the average exit velocity is in the 85th percentile. His expected batting average is 291. The barrel percentage is in the 67th percentile. His walk rate, he's walking 17% of the time, which is in the 95th percentile. Bryce Terang is an elite hitter at this point. Like, he is statistically one of the best players in the league right now. I think this is clearly the best second baseman in the league right now, with Ketel Marte not being at where he was last year. I know Nico Horner's there, but Bryce Terang's a better player than Nico Horner.
Did you see GM Judge talking to him after the game last week?
He did. I did. And that's one thing that you can't underestimate, the WBC vibes, the osmosis, the coaching that he received from some of the veterans like Aaron Judge with Team USA, the WBC. Terang is legit, man. I'm telling you, when you compare this Brewers team to the Cubs, the Brewers have the best pitcher. I know Shota's been incredible this year, but Mizorowski is the best pitcher. I think the Brewers have the better bullpen. Lineup, you give it to the Cubs, but the Brewers have some pesky guys, Terang, Churio, Contreras. The Brewers, they'll have a good lineup. It's going to be a fun battle. Don't write off the Brewers for this division. Right now, Fangraphs gives them a 22% chance to win it, and the Cubs a 47% chance. We'll talk about the Cubs as we move into the big market. I'm loving the small markets this week. I don't know what it is.
Well, small market fans loving the small markets. Let's talk about some big markets. There's a couple of teams of concern. William highlighted 3 teams: the Cubs, the Yankees, and the Dodgers. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the Cubs because we were just talking about the Brewers. I think it's the natural transition there.
The Cubs this week, they played the Atlanta Braves. I personally think Atlanta is just one of those teams this year. Cubs lost Tuesday 5-2 to Atlanta. Braves had 11 hits. And then Wednesday, they lost 4-1. They broke the tie in the 8th, scoring 3 with Mauricio Dubon 2-run homer. Cubs only had 4 hits, and they're playing tonight. I just think, Atlanta's just one of those teams. And, William, you're gonna highlight this. I'll go ahead and say it. The Cubs were 28th in average at 204, 24th in slug at 348, 20th in OPS 661, and 17th in WRC plus at 90 in the month of May. Before the month of May, a couple weeks ago, when I looked at when you left with Kayla, I looked at them. They were one of the best offenses in the majors, ranking up in elite categories, up top 5, top 10. I just think they've had a little bit of a swoon here. They've had a little bit of a dip with playing the Braves, going on the road, playing the Rangers. I want to see them, they're going to bounce back. That's my feeling.
I think the offense isn't what concerns me with Chicago. I think the bats will be there this season. That said, Alex Bregman has not been good for them this season. Let me just pull up the numbers because I was looking at them earlier today, and I do want to just pull it up. He's hitting 249 with a 698 OPS, 4 home runs. The strikeout walk rates are good, but average exit velocity is not very good. Bregman hasn't been great, but it's still early. He's a back of the baseball card type of player. He'll turn it around. PCA, it's been terrible at the plate. Seiya Suzuki's been, okay. He got off to a hot start, but he's kind of cooled off since. I still think the lineup is going to be solid this year for the Cubs. It's the rotation that just terrifies me. I mean, look, Shota's been one of the best pitchers in the league so far this season, 7 scoreless in their game on Wednesday in Atlanta. He's been great. Edward Cabrera has been solid. Ben Brown had a last couple starts have been good. Jameson Taillon, but when you have 3 of your best pitchers on the injured list, Horton out for the season, Boyd's out for a long period of time, Justin Steele just had a setback in his rehab. I think the Cubs got to go out and try to make a trade for an arm as soon as possible, because I'm telling you, man, the Brewers are knocking on their door, and all of the numbers across the breadth of the season are telling me that the Cubs are good offensively, but I don't know. There's something in my gut that is just telling me like, don't trust this Cubs lineup, and I don't know what it is.
I think, like you said, I think it's the pitching, and I just feel it's just a dip in the season right now.
Like the Cubs were just such a different team last year in the first half when PCA was playing at that MVP level. Obviously, bring in Bregman this year, but like who's the best hitter in the Cubs lineup?
Well, Nico Horner as of now, probably to the extent, but now it's probably like swinging to Seiya's been okay coming off the IL.
That's just the thing. Like, look at the other teams in the National League. Like, who's the best hitter for the Dodgers? I know they've been struggling, whatever, but Ohtani can be that MVP guy. Who's the best hitter?
Atlanta has Matt Olson. Matt Olson should be in the MVP level.
If the season ended today,
nobody talks about Matt Olson. Exactly.
Everyone's talking about Matt Olson now. If the season ended today.
Nobody's talking about Matt Olson. Stop with everybody wants to talk about Bobby Wood Jr., Mike Trout. MLB, I think it was Bleacher Report, MLB dropped the whole article saying that who are the top 10 most talked about players right now in Major League Baseball. Matt Olson doesn't even come in the top 10. And Matt Olson's had a great season. Like, it's time to give credit where credit it's due.
If the season ended today, Olson's the MVP of the National League. He's been incredible. And quietly, he's putting together a Hall of Fame case. The resume is he's played 800 something plus games. If he plays through the end of his contract, I think it ends like around, I don't know. He's got a while left on the deal. Like he could be a Hall of Fame caliber player. And it's crazy when you think about it. They'll have like 20 straight years of Hall of Fame first baseman in Atlanta with Freddie Freeman directly handing it off to Matt Olson. I think his contract ends in 2030. So, but that's the thing. Like Atlanta, there's multiple guys that you can point to and be like, that guy terrifies me. That's the best hitter in their lineup. Who's the guy in the Cubs lineup that's like, that's the guy that we have to pitch around? Because you're not pitching around Nico Horner.
I think it's a meat grinder of a lineup. There's not an easy out in that lineup.
And when I say this, I'm grading them against like the best of the best because I do think it's a good lineup. It's a playoff lineup. I'm grading the Cubs in like a can you win the World Series type thing. And right now, I don't think they can win the World Series. I mean, the rotation's not good enough. There's so many question marks in the bullpen. Like the bullpen's I don't think the bullpen's that good. They're banged up. The lineup is good, but man, it's really been struggling this week. Like they played good teams. Atlanta's been boat racing them. Not like boat racing, but they've been clearly the better team. I'm not giving up on the Cubs. They're just, I don't know, they're not playing good baseball right now.
But again, the Yankees aren't playing good baseball right now either.
Let's talk about them. Let's do it.
I mean, look, I have my gripe with the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees had a tough week. I mean, that's another series loss for the Yankees this week, losing the series to Baltimore, losing Monday to the Orioles 2-2. Ryan Weathers carried a no-hitter through six until it was broken up. He was 6 1/3, 1 hit, 2 earned, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts. Hedrick again lays it up to Kobe Mayo to hit a homer, give 3-2 lead. And then Tuesday they won 6-2, and then Wednesday the Orioles won 7-0, which, you know, like John Boy said, and I don't want to like continue just talking about John Boy and talking Yanks. Max Fried left the game early after 61 pitches of injury, and we got the report mid-game that he was going to go to New York and get that opinion by the specialist. And at that point, you know, I agreed with the sentiment that all the fun in that game was lost. They were getting beat down by the Orioles. It was a day game. The game got moved up due to bad weather going into the Baltimore area. And, you know, you're getting beat down. It was just like, at this point, you're just like, just end the game. It was like the 5th or 6th inning. You're just like, end the game. And I think the biggest thing I have with the Yankees is, again, we have a lineup of mashers. Yes, the lineup looks really well on paper, looks great analytically and statistically, as they said, like run it back. But my problem is, and I'm going to ask you a question after this, is that, you know, Judge is playing well, Bellinger's playing well, Rice is slowly starting to get back up to speed after the hand injury. I know Stanton's out, but when you have a lineup of Wells or Escara with Volpe and Jazz, who's been atrocious at the plate, again, a lot of those bats are very boom or bust. Yes, Wells is a great defender behind the plate. The stats show that he's probably one of the better DRS catchers this season. The problem is it is a home run or bust lineup. Why can't we have a lineup in New York with guys that, grind at bats like we talked about those small market teams, or that get singles? And you can look it up. The Yankees ranked in the bottom tier of MLB teams with singles. Like why don't we get singles, like boom, pass it on and do death by 1,000 cuts? That's my real problem with the Yankees. You waste these gems from Schlittler, Weathers on Monday night, and you can't get it together. Yes, the bullpen is terrible, but I do feel like, no, but I know you're laughing about the bullpen, but I watched Monday night's game, and it was 2-0, but there was multiple opportunities for the Yankees to make the lead larger and bring runners home. There was a lot of runners in scoring position, and they could have put the game to bed before the seventh, and they didn't. And I think that's a bigger deal than talking about the bullpen. Yes, the bullpen is terrible, but if you have a great offense and you put up 5 or 6 runs and you have good starting pitching, which we know the Yankees have a top 5 starting pitching in the league, your bullpen can go a little bit more relaxed into the game, that they don't have to keep a 1 or a 2-run game.
Yeah, look, I mean, you made the point that I wanted to make. There's too much swing and miss in the Yankees lineup. It's too boom or bust. They're the eighth worst strikeout rate among all teams in Major League Baseball at 23%. The only teams with worse strikeout rates are the Rangers, Mariners, Reds, Orioles, White Sox, Rockies, and Angels. White Sox have actually, we'll talk about them later, but most of those teams are not playoff teams. And the Yankees are a team that has World Series aspirations. And, again, you made another key point that I wanted to make is like, they don't tack on those insurance runs because there's so many games where it's, they'll club a home run, 2-3 run home run. It's 3-1, 3-0 for a lot of the game they're leading, but they don't tack on those insurance runs. And you leave the opponents the opportunity to stay in the game in those moments. They don't have those guys that are going to grind at bats. It's an incredibly top heavy lineup right now. And without Giancarlo Stanton, it's incredibly left-handed. They're just kind of one dimensional. And look, I think what gives the Yankees, strikes fear into the opponent is the fact that they can have those streaks, couple week streaks, whatever, where they're hitting all the home runs and everyone's firing on all cylinders, right? And they're scoring 10 runs a game and it's beautiful. But when they play these close, gritty games, when they're not hitting those home runs, which again, this happens a lot in the playoffs, and they have to manufacture runs. They're not good at manufacturing runs. They don't have that guy like Ernie Clement last year or Stephen Kwan in the past that's going to give you a tough at-bat, and he's going to hit you a single the other way. They don't have a Chandler Simpson type player on this roster. Losing Jose Caballero is a huge loss. Hopefully he comes back shortly, but it's the same lineup. I mean, it's a run-it-back Yanks.
No, but then again, I think the loss of Jose Caballero is a bigger deal than people are making out to seem. Not because of the Volpe coming up, and I think the Volpe errors, like, yes, they're going to happen. Everybody's going to have errors. I know Ben Rice, I'm not comfortable with him at first base, but I just think Volpe just adds grit to the lineup. He just is like a pest who can just run around and like
Caballero, not Volpe.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, but Caballero can just do things that I don't know. It's just a whole different lineup without him. Like, I missed his energy in the lineup. Maybe you call up Waldo before the Subway Series. I think that would get some vibes up. Again, just for something. I know Dominguez is going to be out for a little bit longer. Spencer Jones had a nice series, in my opinion. Drew a couple walks yesterday. He has good plate discipline. Like, good. I'm not saying great. Good plate discipline. Like, there was a couple pitches that he was able to hold off. He's developing.
He's developing at the major league level. He's got one of the ugliest stances I've seen in my life. It is ugly.
But the thing about Jones is, here's my thing with Jones, is that, and I feel like this happens with big market prospects, Spencer Jones has been painted out, and so has Dominguez, to be the next savior of this franchise for the past year and a half. We've put him in every single trade for a star player. But, like, remember, there's still a prospect. They still haven't played at the major league level. And I think that's what we forget, that there's going to be growing pains. And I saw some things with Spencer Jones that I understand, like, okay, this sucks right now because he's striking out and he's whiffing at pitches. But there's other things of, like, the play discipline and controlling the zone, which I very much enjoyed, that I'm like, okay, if he's doing this already, this young into his career, that is a transferable skill that we're going to be seeing that he's going to grow up on as he sees more major league pitching and these pitches with a bunch of break and spin rate. Honestly, talking quickly about the Fried thing, hopefully it's not long-term. We know the biggest thing with Fried has had some durability concerns, but honestly, the way he's been worked, I wouldn't mind a phantom IL stint for the next 6 weeks. Like, I wouldn't mind.
Look, if there's one area that the Yankees can maybe hold it down, it is probably the rotation. I just hope it doesn't put additional pressure on Cole to rush back to the major league roster. Yeah, it's concerning about Fried. I hope he's okay. The Yankees need Stanton back desperately. They need Dominguez back. I think Spencer Jones will probably get sent down if Dominguez comes back healthy, when Dominguez comes back healthy. And I think Volpe, I think it might be the end for Volpe. I think he might be cooked, man. I think his confidence is gone. That error yesterday was, I know it's 1 or 2 games, whatever, but one game, I don't know, man.
Did you see the tweet last night? I think it was Cutter's King. He absolutely cooked him.
I didn't. I think I have him blocked.
He put a tweet where it was like, "Oh, look at Volpe's stat line here when I was grabbing a Gatorade," and he took a picture of the Gatorade machine. You know how the Gatorade machine has, like, where you type in, like, the thing, and he put in E6, and it was E6, and then it was 3, and I was like, "Oh boy!" Like, absolutely, like, I know he's annoying on Twitter, but that was like a god tier tweet. Like he had to clap it up. Like, that was a good one.
It's a good troll job. I mean, I'd rather have Schumann out there, honestly.
Dude, at this point, can we get Waldo for vibes? Like, let's fix the clubhouse. Like, I know, get Waldo up. I know he had a tough start to the season coming back from injury, but I think Waldo would get the vibes back. I don't. Some of the decisions also, Schumann stealing twice, especially, and you called it out Monday night. Why is he stealing after 2 pitch outs? Like, everybody in the stadium knows that you're going to steal for the 3rd time. Like, on the 3rd try. Like, it just was bound to happen. Let's get Waldo up. Give me an IL stint. We got the Mets tomorrow.
Schlittler.
We'll talk more about that later. This is the Mets Super Bowl this weekend. I cannot stand this weekend. I will be the most toxic. I don't want to see any pro Mets thing. The Mets ran a gimmick for the first month and a half. This whole Mets we suck gimmick. And now they decided to get hot right before the Subway Series. And, now they're going to come into the Subway Series hot with A.J. Ewing. We'll talk more about that later. But
yeah, Yankees go Mets, Blue Jays, Toronto, or Tampa Bay for the next 3 series. So good luck. One guy that go ahead.
All in New York, I said.
Yeah. One guy that I did want to give some quick love to, Rico Garcia of the Baltimore Orioles. Reliever, 32 years old. He's played for 7 teams in his career, and he entered this season with a career 5.27 ERA. He was a 30th round pick by Colorado in 2016. He's been a free agent 7 times, and he's been claimed off waivers 4 times, including 3 times in 2025. So far this season, 20 appearances, 64 batters faced, only 1 hit allowed. He's the first pitcher since 1961 to start off a season by allowing no more than 1 hit over a span of 64 batters faced. Opponents are hitting 18 against him, and the lone hit he allowed was a home run, which means his BABIP is currently 0. He's been the top reliever in baseball this year based on pitching run value. He's at plus 11 on only 251 pitches thrown. Claps to you, Rico Garcia. He was the Yankee last year.
He was on the Mets. He was nasty this week, I will say. The Orioles pitching staff definitely was up this week for this series.
Of course it was.
But comparative, they played a week and a half ago, and they got the doors blown off for 4 in a row. So
I know. different team, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on with the juice over in Oriole land. But next team we'll talk about quickly, the Dodgers. Dodgers lost 2 out of 3 to the Giants. Giants get rid of Pat Bailey. All the vibes are crazy out there. And
playing tonight. So it's 4-game set.
4-game set. Some weird stuff happening out in the outfield of San Francisco that they were politely asked not to do. We'll just keep it at that for our PG listeners. But again, the Dodgers have had a very rough start to this year. I mean, their guys aren't hitting that well. I mean, we talk about Shohei being this great pitcher, but he's only hitting 240, 7 homers, and 17 RBIs. If, like I said earlier to you, if this was Aaron Judge or Juan Soto, that would be plastered all over the billboards of New York. Kyle Tucker is only hitting 260, 4 homers and 20 RBIs. That's quite an expensive contract to be hitting 260. Mookie Betts just finally got back off the IL. He's only hitting 171 with 7 hits. I know he just got back, but still, he's out of the lineup tonight. And then finally, Freddie Freeman, who's a mainstay of the lineup, he's all right, hitting 277. But again, the Dodgers guys aren't dodgering and aren't being the big guys. The big guy that we got to give credit is the other guys for the Dodgers. That is Max Muncy, Dalton Rushing. Guys of that nature have been hitting the ball pretty well lately.
Are you concerned about the Dodgers?
I mean, here's my thing. The Dodgers aren't playing for games like here. And I don't think they care about 100 games. I think they do deep down. They do. It's like a pride thing. Like that's kind of a goal. But I think at the end of the day, how their season is, judged upon is winning a World Series. And I remember, think about it yourself. As a Yankee fans in the 2000s and in the 90s, what were you caring about? World Series. Do you remember the record of what they did during the season? No. You care about, are they raising rings? We talk about the 98 Braves as one of the better teams in MLB history. And for all what they did, but guess what? They didn't win a ring. Also, the Giants team, and back a couple years ago, that they won 100 games. Do we remember that they won 100 games? Yes, because we're baseball nerds and we're sickos. But at the end of the day, do we remember that team? No, because they didn't win a World Series. And I think that's what they care about.
Yeah, my level of concern for the Dodgers is pretty low. I think maybe the only one area of concern would be they are an older team. They're the oldest position player group in all of baseball. Maybe some of these guys are starting to fade. If that's the glass half empty take on the Dodgers. The glass half full take is, well, they were the oldest team last year and they won the World Series. Now the offense was very come and go in the playoffs last year, and they were still able to win, even though I think they were outplayed by Toronto. I think Toronto was the better team in the World Series, but it doesn't matter. The better team doesn't always win. The Dodgers, showed up in those moments and won the World Series. So look, they're not hitting right now. I think they'll get it going. This is still going to be the last team you'll want to play in the postseason. It's just a matter of getting healthy. And if they're healthy, I mean, the 3 that you're going to have to go up against in the playoffs is Yamamoto, Ohtani, Snell, and Glasnow. That's the 4. I mean, good luck. Have fun with that. That's the best starting 4 in the league. And you look at Ohtani this season, look, yeah, he's been struggling at the plate. They're resting him now. He wasn't in the lineup Wednesday when he pitched. He wasn't in the lineup Thursday. They gave him the day off. And on Wednesday, he went 7 scoreless innings, 8 strikeouts, and his ERA is now a .82 through his first 7 starts. It's the lowest in the league so far this season, the 6th lowest since the wildcard era began in 1994, and the lowest by any Dodger pitcher his first 7 starts since Fernando Valenzuela, who had a 0.29 ERA through 7 starts in 1981. Ohtani leads the league in WHIP, and he's 11th in strikeout percentage. He's 7th among all pitchers in F4 right now, despite having 2 or 3 less starts than most of them. He is 32 in July. He's attempting his first full season as a two-way player for the first time in 4 years. I wonder how much they're going to rest him moving forward, because it's clear he's made it clear that he wants to win a Cy Young at some point in his career. And right now, the way he's pitching, this might be his best chance. Obviously, you have some really good contenders in Skeens and Mizorowski in the National League right now. It could be a really fun race, but I don't know. I mean, I think the Dodgers will be fine. The division isn't that good. The Padres will start to come back down to earth a little bit, and there's no one that's going to really challenge the Dodgers in this division. So the Dodgers will be fine. I think they should give Ohtani the runway to go out and push for the Cy Young, as long as he's not overworking himself and all that stuff. So concern level on the Dodgers is couldn't be lower, man. They struggled last year. They didn't even win 100 games, and they still won the World Series. So
that's what I'm saying. But let me just ask you this: if you're a manager, if you're the Dodgers, and just as maybe a fan take, but is Ohtani's bat that important to the Dodgers lineup right now, and like in general? Where is Ohtani more useful for the Dodgers right now?
Well, look, he's not hitting. They're not hitting. But the rotation, you got Sheehan, who's been good. Snell, been injured.
Robleski.
Only made like 1 or 2 starts. Robleski's been great. Roki, okay. Look, I mean, he's a Cy Young caliber pitcher, so I'd say he's more valuable to the rotation right now than he is to the lineup.
But if you had to pick, say if two-way players are not allowed, and right now, what would you use him as?
I think right now you have to say you'd use him as a pitcher because he's pitching at a Cy Young level.
It's tough because you do pitch him differently when you do pitch that lineup completely differently with him in the lineup. That's the one thing I do think about. The way
it's interesting.
It's a difficult exercise, and it's something that I wanted to think about. It's just like, okay, well, what do you do? So, yeah,
he's going to get it going at some point. And right now, like we said earlier, Matt Olson's the MVP, but it's probably still going to be Ohtani. I don't have the odds in front of me, but he's still probably the favorite.
Want to go around the horn now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Takeaways. We'll start with the Arizona-Texas series. Rangers won 2 out of 3. Diamondbacks won Monday 1-0. Evaldi was scratched with left side tightness. Tuesday, Mackenzie Gore gave a gem. 8 innings strong, 1 earned, 5 strikeouts. The Rangers won 6-4. And then Wednesday night, the Rangers won 6-5 as Jacob Latz blew the 3-2 lead for Texas in the 9th. Arizona went up 5-3, but then Paul Sewald blew it in the 9th for Arizona as Danny Jansen hit a walk-off single. Again, this is for me, I take away, this is a tough series loss for Arizona. You can't be losing many games when you're in the hunt in the NL for the wild card, and especially in how tough that West is.
Yeah, I got to do a deep dive on Arizona because we know like Vargas, Arenado, Corbin Carroll. We know, but like there are 2 games under 500. What's the prognosis on this team? I'm going to do maybe a little bit of a deep dive on them. They got Colorado, San Francisco, and then Colorado again. So kind of an easy stretch for them here coming up. And then the Rangers, Corey Seager is in an incredible slump. I think he's like 0 for his last 34 right now. So he's really been struggling.
Well, I think the thing with you said Ketel Marte. And I think Ketel Marte has and I looked at the stat, I don't have it up in front of me, but I saw his expected on batting average is completely 40 points down. Under expected.
I can pull it up.
Yeah.
Right now he's hitting. Oh yeah, he might be one of the most unlucky players in all of baseball right now. He says he has a 215 batting average. His expected batting average is 287. So maybe he's getting a little bit unlucky.
Is he this year's Ben Rice? We can talk about, being unlucky and everything, but at some point, the results had to come. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully the luck evens out for him.
Seattle and Houston played this week. Mariners won 3 out of 4. Mariners won 3-1. Mariners won 10-2. Amai was awful. I feel bad for the guy, honestly. I read that Athletic article that you sent me. It's kind of heartbreaking for the guy. Guy thousands of miles away from home, struggling out here. And I found it really interesting in the article just how philosophies-wise, and quote me, and you read the article too, that in Japan they pitch the pitcher's strengths, which he was saying it was fastball slider for MI. And here in America, in the majors, you pitch to the lineup's weaknesses and into that. And so I find it quite interesting on that nature, and it hurts because you did give him the contract and everything and whatnot, and he's been struggling to close the series. Mariners won today 8-3, and then the Astros won yesterday 4-3 in 10. Cal Raleigh went on the IL for the first time in his career with an oblique strain. So Big Dumper is not Big Dumping anymore.
Yeah, on Amai, and then I'll get to Raleigh. You're right, and the Astros have been kind of doing everything they can to give this guy the runway and the opportunity to be comfortable and pitch to his strengths. And to your point, in Japan, they pitch to the pitcher strengths, and they did that approach in this Mariners start. They said, like, just trust the fastball slider, and it didn't work for him, obviously. So I do feel for the guy as well. I hope he can turn it around because I think there's talent there. I just don't know if Houston's the best spot for him to be in. And then on Raleigh, and so he was like, he had an 0 for 38 slide, and then he broke out of it on Tuesday, 2 for 4. He actually showered in his full uniform on the advice of Logan Gilbert, and it worked for him. Then, unfortunately, like you said, he landed on the injured list. This is one of those guys, I think the injured list stint could be a good thing for him. Just get some time away from the game, like reset mentally, physically, and all that stuff, and just hopefully come back strong.
Or he can just be Chris Davis / Joey Gallo.
It is possible. We could be looking like 15 years from now and be like, you remember when Cal Raleigh hit 60 home runs and pushed Aaron Judge for the MVP, had the best catcher season of all time?
And still didn't win the MVP because a guy named Aaron Judge exists.
That's what I was telling everybody last year is like the difference between Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge is going to come back in the next season and he's going to be doing it again. And Cal Raleigh would probably come back down to earth. I didn't expect Cal Raleigh to be this bad this year. That's how the chips have fallen this year.
Aaron James Judge, my boys and girls. Next one, Colorado and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh won 2 out of 3. Skeens pitched on Tuesday night. 8 strong, 0 earned, 10 strikeouts, 2 hits. Again, he has a 1.9 ERA on the season and would probably be ridiculously lower if that one day in Queens didn't exist. That first game in Queens, but Wednesday, the Rockies won 10-4, and Thursday, the Pirates won 7-2. Spotlight on Nicky Moniak on Wednesday, went 3 for 5, 1 homer, 5 RBIs, and a double on his birthday. One of the better pickups this year for the Rockies. But again, Pirates get the series win.
Connor Griffin, 10 stolen bases in his first 38 games. And yeah, Moniak is the spotlight here, though. I know the Pirates won the series, but he has a 1.032 OPS. He's hitting 308. He's got a 677 slug, 12 home runs. Moniak's been really good for the Rockies. So credit to him, former number 1 overall pick in 2016 by the Phillies.
Could be getting it together. What's the next series? What's up?
Did he get traded?
What, he was in Philly, and then he was on the Angels, and I believe he had a stint with the Guards. He had a stint in the Central Guard. So, okay, he played in Philly, LA, and then Colorado, exactly. And so he signed a 1-year contract with the Rockies. So he's making himself some money.
22. Yeah, I mean, shoot, how old is the guy? He's only 28. 2022, he was traded to the Angels for Noah Syndergaard, who's been in the news this week. Interestingly enough.
We will not be discussing that on this pod. If you want our opinions, you can ask us off pod. If you find us at a bar, we will discuss those.
Yeah. What's next?
Next series we're going to talk about is the Nationals and Reds series. The Nationals won 2 out of 3. Again, 10-4 for the Nationals Tuesday, Wednesday 8-7 and 10, and 15-1 for the Reds. I believe, due to my social media feed, it was Bark at the Park Day at the Reds games. So everybody that I know with the dog in Cincinnati was at the game last night or prior. So good. Reds have been struggling, but the Nationals, Dalen Lyle last night, 2 for 4, 1 homer, 3 RBI, 2-run homer in the 10th, gave him the 8-6 lead. But William, I think you got the clip. Roll it. I think this is one of the hardest, bat flips that this season. We have the William Blurry bat flip, but I think this Selly was this pimp job was great. If you're watching on Spotify video or on YouTube, William, roll the clip. He pimps it, and then boom, slaps the throat, boom, dead.
It's pretty good. I didn't know he
had that juice, but he got that juice.
And if you've never heard Dalen Lyle speak, I didn't know he has one of the thickest Southern. It's like Xavier Leggett type vibes. He's from Louisville. He's got a deep country accent.
Is it like Patrick Mahomes?
Patrick Mahomes. Kermit
Patrick
the Frog.
Mahomes has that country accent. Yeah, he has that country accent. If you don't know who Kermit the Frog is, if I put My mom doesn't know who Kermit the Frog is. My mom's not American. She's from Mexico. If I put that boy, he's like, yeah, that's a country guy. Like, that's what I'm saying.
It's more in the Xavier Legette realm. On the Reds, though, Chase Burns looking like an ace, 6 scoreless today on Thursday. They went crazy. JJ Bleday, 2 home runs. But Burns, his ERA is down to a 1.87. He's been very good this season. And I'm going to do a deep dive at some point on Elly De La Cruz. There's a really good article in The Athletic today by Ken Rosenthal about Elly. He's not just like chasing the metrics this year. He's much more balanced approach. And interestingly, his whole career, he's been a really bad right-handed hitter. And he's been better from the left side of the plate, but that's actually completely swapped this year. And he's been much better from the right-hand side than the left-hand side. So something interesting I think I'm going to dive into, maybe do a little clip on it here shortly.
You know who else was in Cincy this week?
No.
Scott Boras.
Oh, yes. They're not. I'm sorry, Reds fans. I don't think extension is going to happen. He could. In the Rosenthal article, he mentioned that Elly could become the highest paid shortstop of all time, breaking that Lindor contract because Schwarber just went yard. Sorry, I'm watching the Red Sox game. Huge home run by Kyle Schwarber. But yeah, Elly could be the highest paid shortstop of all time. That's 18 for Schwarber.
Boras was in Cincy. He went to Jeff Ruby's. At Jeff Ruby's, I don't know if you're familiar with Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse, but for special events and special clients, they make special cakes. So I know on the recruiting visits for basketball players, they make the Jordans in a cake style. And I think, and I remember correctly, I saw it recently, they made a Reds hat cake dessert. So,
yeah, no, I went to Jeff Ruby's in Lexington. My girlfriend went to Kentucky. You know that, but listeners, really good. Like one of the better steaks I've had.
Jeff Ruby's Steaks, I will say that if you want to give me some promo, want to sponsor, it's one of the best steakhouses I've been to in the country. Like top 5, top 3. Like, and
I don't want to sound annoying. We've been to some good steakhouses, and Jeff Ruby's is up that list.
Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse would be the best steakhouse in Miami. I don't know about Chicago, but I haven't had. I have a good steak in Miami, but Jeff Ruby's is like whatever. The salad with the bacon bits.
Probably not Chicago. We're a steakhouse capital, but Jeff Ruby's is good.
I'm sorry,
not a sponsor could be.
You're right next to Omaha Steaks. I'm sorry. So you have Iowa and cows right there. If it wasn't for a couple skyscrapers, y'all would be a flat farmland with corn.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
flat as a board over here.
But the Reds have been struggling, man. That's one of the most interesting things. I mean, the Reds, aside from that Astros win, they've been struggling. But I mean, they're still 23 and 21 right now. So, perfect segue. Philadelphia, Boston. Phillies won 2-1 on Tuesday. Zach Wheeler dominated 7 1/3. 1 earned, 4 strikeouts. Schwarber homered 17, 5th straight game with a homer, tying a Phillies record. Duran got the save. Wednesday, the Red Sox won 3-1. Sonny had a great start, and Saddam Rafael had a big pinch hit, 2-run homer, and they're currently playing right now. So
they are currently playing right now. Phillies winning. So Philly could win 2 out of 3 here, which would mean they're killing it since Don Mattingly took over. They're looking like they could claw back into a playoff spot. So feel good about the Phillies. Doring, forever optimistic, friend of the pod, never gave up on the Phillies. He's a fan, so credit to him. He's always, Lester are in League One now, and he maybe he's given up on them. But the good news for him.
Doring is one of the most optimistic people I know. One of the most positive people I've ever met in my life. So I believe I need a little bit of copium from him.
Yeah, and man, Schwarber's had an incredible season. 18 home runs. Poof. I mean, we could be looking at a 60 home run season for Mr. Schwarber. So, yeah, Phillies are getting it going, and the Red Sox are just
Yeah. Hey, boots on the ground. Hate watch next month.
Yeah, we'll be there. Yankees, Red Sox.
Let's go. Detroit played the Mets. Mets swept 3. Called up AJ Ewing. AJ Ewing's been incredible. 1 for 2 triple on Tuesday. 3 walks and a stolen base. He's the first MLBer since at least the 1900s to record a 3 walks, a triple stolen base, and multiple RBIs in his debut. Mets got 13 hits, went 5 for 17 in runners in scoring position. Tigers wrapped up 10 hits, but went 0 for 9. Francisco Alvarez tore his meniscus out 6 to 8 weeks. They won last night 3-2 off of Carson Bench, walk-off single. And Soto left the game, found the ball off his foot. Didn't matter. He was back in the lineup. And Nolan McLean had the sweep today. 7 strong, 3 earned, 7 strikeouts. Mets have their first sweep. And like I said, I love this little Mets gimmick that they suck this season because now they're rolling into the Subway Series as winning 7 out of the last 10. Again, caveat here is that they play the Tigers, which half their team is on the IL. They're all in a hospital right now, and they played the Rockies. So that's where they won comp. The Rockies and then the Diamondbacks. They lost that series. But you got to love it. The Mets Super Bowl starts tomorrow. Cam Slittler's on the hill tomorrow versus, I think it's Clay Holmes. They got Los. The Yankees got Los on Saturday. Carlos Rodon to be determined for the Mets. And then on Sunday, it'll be Freddie Peralta going up for the Mets, and the Yankees will have – don't tell me – it will be – no, is it going to be – yeah, West Coast. It's going to be Will on Sunday.
Yeah, the Yankees always – I feel like the Yankees play bad at Citi Field. So we'll see how that series goes. That was the first time in franchise history that the Mets have come back from multiple runs down in every game of a sweep of at least 3 games. So obviously a great series for them. McLean had a good start on Thursday. AJ Ewing might be bringing some juice, some much needed juice, getting revitalized that team. But again, they can't have nice things. Alvarez, like you mentioned, the meniscus tear, and Tigers might suck, dude.
Dude, it's just they have so many injuries right now. That's just my thing.
Glaber, Trey Sweeney, Javier Baez, Kerry Carpenter, Parker Meadows, Jackson Jobe, Troy Melton, Casey Mize, Reese Olson, Tarek Skubal, Justin Verlander, Bo Brisky, Bailey Horn, Connor Siebold, and Will Vest. Those are all the guys that are on the injured list for the Tigers right now. It's a lot. Yeah. They're the worst defensive team in baseball by defensive rating, according to Fangraphs. Worst in outs above average, worst in DR, or 27th in DRS. I don't know. I just, yeah. Who's been good in that lineup outside of Riley Green, Kevin McGonigal, and Dylan Dingler? There's been no production offensively.
Colt Keith, but he's all right.
Yeah,
he's been okay.
I don't know. Cleveland.
Yeah. Cleveland. White Sox, Royals. White Sox won the series, winning 2 so far. They're playing Game 3 right now. White Sox won 6-5. Garrett Hill had a pinch hit homer in the 8th, giving the lead. Chase Mydroff had a big homer. Again, Ryan Hudson, a guy that I'm eyeing for the bullpen. Again, big save. White Sox won 6-5 on Wednesday. 4 straight wins, and I think they're up right now. They're up, I think, 5-1 now in the top of the 5th. I mean, the White Sox are doing big things. It's rivalry weekend this weekend in the majors, man. I'm reading that Cubs Twitter and White Sox Twitter are starting to prepare for tomorrow's game. I feel it's going to get a little bit testy out there in Chicago. I gotta love it having both of the teams good up there. Will you be?
Yeah, fine. I probably not. Maybe Sunday. But look, I mean, the White Sox, if they win this game tonight, which it seems like they will, they could be a game over 500 in mid-May. I mean, you have to tip your cap. Some interesting stuff with the draft. They might not be going Rock Chalosky. They might be going with Grady Emerson, I think his name is, the prep shortstop. We'll see. There's apparently they're split right now on who's to go number 1. But man, they got some bullpen demons out there in Chicago. Grant Taylor, Brian Hudson.
Sir Anthony Dominguez is getting saves left and right. Randall Grichuk has 2 hits tonight, 4 RBIs.
Oh, they picked him up?
Do the Yankees feel poor for that one? He's been playing pretty well for them.
And we need right-handed bats.
Yeah, he could have hit the broad side of a barrel. Like, he had spring training with the Yankees. Now he got picked up by the White Sox, and he's playing great. So
less pressure.
Less pressure. Hey, another series. Miami Marlins played the Minnesota Twins. Twins won 2 out of 3, winning today 9-1. Zebby Matthews went 7 strong, 5 strikeouts, and win Tuesday 3-0. Bailey Ober had a Maddox game. I feel like Bailey Ober always has one of these like crazy games a season where he'll be like 7-8 innings, 13 strikeouts. He pitched 9 strong, 7 strikeouts, 2 hits. First Maddox game for the Twins since Irvin Santana. Ryan Jeffers hit a homer, and then Wednesday the Marlins won 9-5. Buxton had a 2-homer game, so now he's 15 on the season. Again, he has that no trade clause. Will be interesting if he decides to exercise that this year.
Yeah, look, Buxton, he's healthy. He's playing good baseball again. He's backing up a good 2025 season with another good season this year. 899 OPS, 15 home runs, 260 batting average, good defense. Obviously runs the base as well. 4 stolen bases on the season. The whiff rate, the strikeout rate, the walk rate aren't good, but he's a good quality player. Only 32 years old. Look, he didn't want to get traded last year, said he wants to be with the Twins for his career and all that, but I think it might be time. He could be helpful for a contending team. Look, I'm always one to bring up the Yankees. Yankees aren't getting much production from Trent Grisham in center field. They could use a guy like a Byron Buxton out there.
Hey, there's a guy by the name of Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez right there at center field. That's the future of the Yankees outfield. Hey, I know GM Judge. Let's see. If GM Judge has a favorable review of him from the WBC, maybe it happens, but I tend to think no.
The contract isn't that bad. The $15 million for the next, counting this season, for the next 3 seasons, that's completely manageable. That's less than Trent Grisham's making right now this year. What team are you going to bring up?
He doesn't strike me as a guy that would want to play in a big market, though. He gives me like a guy that would love to play like in Texas, Braves type of player vibe, Cardinals, like that type of middle America country team.
He is a country guy. I think he's from Georgia, right?
Yeah. But yeah.
Did you have a team in mind or not?
I was thinking the Braves, but he just doesn't factor into the Braves because I think the Braves just got a good thing going on with Dubon playing out there. I know Dubon's kind of a multi-positional guy for them, but they got like Dom Smith also who plays a little outfield, and Michael Harris. Acuna's going to be back soon. I know left field's been a black hole, but Michael Harris is a Gold Glove center fielder. Like you don't just be like, hey, go play left field, my guy.
And they got Yastrzemski too, playing out there in left.
Yeah. They're more of a nice I want to say like a no throws type of bat. Bat the ball.
Sorry, Yastrzemski's right, and they got Dubon out there in left right now. Yeah, I don't know if he fits. I mean, obviously Acuna will come back, like you said. Hao-Shen Kim debuted for them this week, by the way.
Yeah.
Right.
Last series of the week, Cardinals-Athletics. Cardinals win 2 out of 3. I'm telling you, William, you need to buy stock on these cards. Love the A's and the Cards. Cards won 6-4 on Tuesday, and today 5-4. Ivan Herrera is pleasantly having a good season, very underrated season as a catcher, but the A's won yesterday 6-2 with a grand slam off Nick Kurtz. Again, 2 teams I really like right now, 2 .TV teams. I think like my teams right now that I like watching are the Cards, A's, and the White Sox. That's like my big 3 right now. So
yeah, I mean the Cards win the series. Their expected win-loss is 21-21. They're actually 24-18, so they're actually overperforming the record by 3 wins right now. I don't know. I'm still not in on the Cardinals. I'm still not. I'm sorry. Jordan Walker, 12 home runs. He's been incredible.
Dustin May's had a really good season so far too, as well. So yeah,
good series win for them. Nick Kurtz, 7 home runs on the season. He's been heating up. But Riley O'Brien, 13 saves, by the way. That ties the league lead. He's been good for them. And Jojo Romero, although he wasn't good today, but he's been good for them this season.
So, William, that wraps up today's pod. Any series are you looking forward for rivalry weekend? You know, you got the Battle of Florida, which will be your Sunday morning game at 11:15 Central Time. You got the Battle of Philadelphia, the Beltway series with the Orioles and Nationals. The Ohio Cup's up for grabs with the Reds and Guards. You got the Battle of Texas between Houston and Texas, Chicago. You got the Subway series. You got the Missouri series. You got the LA Dodgers versus the Angels, and then you got the A's versus the Giants. Any series you're looking forward to this weekend, rivalry weekend?
Obviously, Yankees, Mets. Crazy enough, the Ohio Cup, Reds, Guardians, did a lot of talking about the small market teams. That series could actually be interesting. I didn't know Brewers-Twins was a rivalry. Red Sox Braves, we were at this series last year, so that we're actually in Boston this weekend last year. Obviously, Cubs White Sox is heavily circled. That's going to be a lot of fun on the south side. It's always kind of fun when those teams play on the south side. So, and then the Dodgers Angels, the Angels swept the Dodgers last year, if you guys remember.
Angels MLB champions is what you're telling me?
Yeah, the Angels were transitive property champions last year.
Hey, I bet you are like growing up, our math teachers would be proud of that term, like transitive property. Like all of our geometry and algebra teachers would be proud that we'd be using that terminology right now. Our education went to work there.
It did.
We'll be back Sunday night, William. Been a pleasure. Make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube, subscribe to our Instagram, X. Make sure you hit the like button. Again, we're trying to get to 500 by the end of the season. With that, we'll be back Sunday night. We're going to review the rivalry series. William, what are you expecting this weekend for the rivalry series? How many fights are we expecting on MLB Twitter this weekend? That's my question.
On MLB Twitter, it'll be a lot. I thought you were going to say on the field, 0. I feel like the fans care about it more than the players.
Where do you expect the fights to come out of?
Chicago.
I think Chicago and New York are definitely going to feed our timelines. Like, they're going to be great. Angels and Dodgers fans, like I remember when I was at the Reds Dodgers game for the playoffs, there's a guy with an Ohtani Angels jersey, and it's like, yeah, I come here to watch good baseball because I know my team does not have good baseball, so I came here to watch talent. So,
dude, Ohtani's been on the Dodgers. It's only been his 3rd year. I have like no memories of Ohtani really playing for the Angels. I forgot he was an Angel at sometimes.
Hey, man. I feel bad for the Angels, man. Free Mike Trout.
Free Mike Trout. Free the fan base, man. They deserve better. Anyways, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. From a good friend over there, Luis Barranco. I'm William Lack. We will be back on Sunday. Until then, catch you guys next time. Peace out.